was to put my good friend Eddie on the spot. And we're going to have your long game story. Get up in here real quick. He works with me full time and has been helping me build LBA the past year. But he has his own real backstory that I think would really help people to hear. And so, yeah, your LBA journey in low back, you got 2 minutes.
All right.
Your own words.
All right, so we're going to start off with my back journey, back injury journey. Overall, before I hurt my back or I had a herniated disc or a pinched nerve or whatever.
He had all those. He's not saying or.
I had all of them.
He's very sure of what he had.
I was an athlete. I did whatever I wanted. I worked out however I wanted. I didn't really think about what I put on the squat rack, how I squatted, didn't think about how deep I went. Like, it just didn't matter to me because my body can do it, right? And that's where, like, now I've realized I went wrong in a lot of aspects. I didn't know how to really, truly train. In 2022, I herniated and had a pinched nerve on my L4 and L5. I went from being an athlete, being somebody that could do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, play whatever sports, and be damn near good at it.
Conference record in triple jump in college, was the friend that like even got injured, torn meniscus, got surgery, and 3 months later he's back.
Yeah, the guy that bounced back from everything. When I herniated and had a pinched nerve on my L4, L5, I realized that I didn't really have a plan for it, you know? I went to the doctors. They offered me surgery, offered me PT, and I hit up my good friend here, Brendan. And he was kind of jumping into the low back ability realm and kind of starting to figure out his own journey with his back and stuff like that.
We knew each other since teenagers. We were best friends.
Yeah. And I hit him up and I was like, bro, I'm struggling right now. I can't move. Like, I can't even touch my toes. I can't stretch. He was like, yo, do this, do that. And at the time, I was so bad that anything that I did made it worse. You know, I didn't have a foundation. I didn't have a low back foundation. So anything that I did try made it complete worse. So when I hear or see emails from people saying, I'm trying to do elephant walks and you haven't even touched the back extensions or iso holds, I'm like, you're starting off at the advanced level, you know what I mean? There is so much more to build on before you can even touch anything else that Brendan shows on his videos or I'm able to do now. And I made those same mistakes, you know, we both did. This journey has been a journey to where I'm relearning my body, relearning how to strengthen my body in proper ways, and also don't try to rush things, right? Not trying to jump to the back extension reps with weight on, you know what I mean? There's no time for that. You know, if you want to get better, you have to understand this process takes way longer than you think. And for some people, it happens a lot faster. For some people, it happens a lot slower, but the process is still long for everyone. So I herniated my disc. My doctors gave me options to either get surgery, go to PT, and get injections. I decided to get injections and then also go to PT because the surgery that they offered me was basically cutting a piece of my spine out to alleviate the nerves so that way I can alleviate the pain. And I wasn't really good with that, you know what I mean? I'm thinking about my spine, something that's going to hold me up for the rest of my life, and you taking a chunk of that out just to give me a Band-Aid or a relief for that certain amount of time, I wasn't really good with that. So I took the injection route because I was really inflamed and I couldn't really do anything. And it helped with a lot of the inflammation where I was able to jump into or start the LBA program at the beginning, right? That was iso holds, right? At the beginning, I couldn't do iso holds for longer than 15 seconds, you know?
Out of hip drop set for a long time, too.
And then outer hip drop set helped me so much. My hips were so weak, and I thought the reason why they hurt was because they were tight. So I constantly stretched them, right? I was constantly doing pigeons, and that wasn't working. Like, I would still end up feeling like shit the next day. So once he introduced or kind of developed the outer hip drop set, I started giving that a try. And my hips went from hurting every single day to the pain dulling over time, right? So I had to put in my own deposits in the outer hip drop set to be able to now jump into the pigeon stretch and actually now stretch a muscle that's been built up over time rather than stretching a muscle that doesn't have any protection. There's no strength there. So once I developed my hips, I was then able to handle ISO holds, right? I developed from holding my ISOs from 15, 30, a minute to 2 minutes. And then now I went to the single leg ISO holds, right? I started doing single leg stuff. Like, I was building a foundation around my back to be able to handle load, handle me being able to move, run, anything that caused me any type of pain.
Endurance through the day too.
Exactly.
Sit all day.
Anything that caused me any type of pain throughout my days when I didn't have the knowledge or my back didn't have the preparation to handle a day to day. So.
How far along are you?
Like 2.5.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
Just getting to like starting weighted reps.
Yeah.
And hey, even before you got to where I'm at with my back extension, you're already good enough to run a 55 in the 4.
Yeah.
And you lost 30 pounds, 25 or whatever it was, and you now can play football on the beach with us and sprint and cut. You have a stronger back than most people.
Yeah,
it's just,
100%.
You have such high goals in your back because you want to never be a problem.
100%.
But you're already at the point where you're out in the clear. You just don't want to feel it ever.
You
so
know?
Now you're gonna go.
And for me, that dials back to the whole thing. Like, some people's timelines are so different from other people's. Like, I had a foundation of muscle because of how long I worked out. Right, I started working out at like 16. He saw me. I was going to school early in the morning before classes started just to catch a workout in. Right, yeah. So I had a foundation of muscle and strength, but it wasn't to my lower back. So that's why I ended up getting hurt. But for me to come back, my comeback is a lot faster than most people because I had a foundation. Most people have zero foundation and have my low back problems, and now they're trying to jump directly into the heavy stuff or skip steps that end up giving them flare-ups, giving them problems along the route, and the long game is going to take longer for you if you don't slow it down, right? The whole reason why we call it a long game is you need to slow it down. You need to understand every aspect of the game for you to get somewhere with it, you know? So
yeah, man.
That's my gist about it, you know what I mean? So
inspired to just see it myself. And we talk about learn every part of the game. Let's list through the many different parts of the game, because people in the comments love to inform me and us that there's more than just training the back. Absolutely. So let's go through all of it. Insulin resistance. Are you diabetic? Are you pre-diabetic? Do you have an unhealthy metabolic health? Circulatory problems? Circadian issues of your normal lifestyle. Are you up? Terrible sleep schedule, up all overnight, stressed out, living in stress hormones, of cortisol? Do you have an unhealthy environment in your life, unhealthy relationship, unhealthy vices that are deterring you? Do you have an inflammatory diet? You're eating things that don't really go well with your epigenetics or your body or your microbiome, your gut. Are you completely overweight? Are you completely sedentary? Are you really struggling in any way with your mind and body? And so someone may hear all this and be like, well, 30 reps in the back extension, great standard, but I'm 50 pounds overweight, so what am I supposed to do? Here's the insensitive answer that's real. Deal with it. Figure it out. So what that means is I'm being considerate, but I can't console, because the reality is your back has to carry you, no matter what it is, no matter carry your sad body, unhealthy body, angry body, injured body, car accident body, whatever it is. I'm giving you the real hope, which is like we have to face reality no matter what it is. And I'm not pretending it's easy, that I'm the credible person to teach you for all those things, that it happened fast. I just believe that progress can be made. If you can get 1% worse tomorrow in any of the things I just listed in your health, you can get at least 0.1% better tomorrow in some way. Or you can at least try to, which is going to get you closer. You do those things enough time over years, things are going to be easier. This game is exponential, meaning it's the hardest in the beginning, and then everything compounds into just easier and easier and easier. We were both unhealthy in many ways.
Sure.
Vices of things. I'm on like fucking Zen nicotine trying to be an entrepreneur.
Same.
Going, he's like sucking a vape, drinking, all this
Staying
shit.
up all night, eating fast food, eating whatever I could get my hands on. Emptying a whole bag of chips because I can, you know?
Vices so like a motherfucker. Like bad body weight, bad body fat, bad relationship things not great. We're both from a small town that's not really conducive for growth. We're around unhealthy people all the damn time. And so like, that's not complaints. We still have it way easier than somebody
100%.
in Sudan
100%.
right now or whatever, maybe Syria. But it's like, it's just still, when someone says, well, easy for you to say because I have these things, I understand it's easier for me to say. But even hard truths are still true. So it is easy for me to say it's hard for you to do, but it's still what needs to be done. And I hope that I can help you find some way to do that. And so if your issues are multifaceted, multifactored, like there very likely are, that doesn't discredit the fact you can do this.
You definitely can.
That you have to do this. And so, or just you're walking towards death. You think it's not that deep. But this back problem, a lot of times, is more of a symptom of your actual bigger problems in your life and health than it is the pure root problem of your whole life. You may become aware because the pain of the way it makes you sit your ass down and you can't live.
There's so much more to it.
But the reason you have these back issues is because all the other factors that maybe you weren't aware of, maybe it is just you avoided back training, but there's usually more. And so, with that said, that's not to be insensitive or to act like we're not hearing you, that it can be really hard.
It's just being real.
The truth is the truth, and I'm not going to give it to you fake.
Yeah, there's no need to beat around the bush because you're not going to get better if people are lying to you.
Yeah, and even if it's like, well, this stuff is genetic, great. So be the best of anyone in your gene pool. If everyone in your family has heart issues, everyone in my family has heart issues, well, I'm going to be the most fucking in shape, well-rested, sauna'd out. I'm going to make sure all the fucking proteins in my heart are the best of anyone in my lineage has ever seen, because I'm not taking that way out to be like, well, my grandma, I just can't. That is what the cards you get dealt with. People have won card games with shitty cards. That's going to be me, in whatever way. So this is not meant to be some motivation speech. It's just real life. And so he had to lose some weight. He had to drop a lot of things. He had to quit a job, go work for a small company with me where we couldn't pay him at first, and slowly help me build this so we could all get paid. And these sacrifices that are very uncomfortable to change your life, to change his body, to change his back. And sometimes you have to make life adjustments to fix a really, really big injury problem for you. And I can't put that in a program because I don't know the blueprint of how people do that. But it's just to encourage you that
if I could do it, you could do it.
Yeah. And
if he could do it, shit, anybody else could do it. There's
a lot of stories we hear of crazy shit of people rebuilding their whole life and back from insane situations. So, just so you know, you're not alone in it. It wasn't that simple that I just did iso holds and I'm fixed. I had to do iso holds, face a lot of different heartbreak, face a lot of tough challenges in my life, cut things off, cut people off, do better things, move where I lived, change everything, and all of a sudden my body felt better. And I could stack the wins on the training too. So this is the stuff that loses engagement and people don't really listen to the same way as 4 hip stretches to fix your back pain, but it's just real. So
real stuff, man.
Yeah, man, thanks for sharing with the people, and the right people are always going to find the right message and it'll help. So yeah, long game.
Yes, sir.